What's up, YouTube? It's your bro, DrDroo, in my evil orange throne in my basement because it's too hot today. Just got back from a jog, and I haven't shaved in a while because I've been too lazy. So you get me at my best. I realized I haven't done a follow-up video in a while. And, since I'm your bro, I'm your doc, I'm your best friend, I figure it's about time for me to do a little bit of giving my opinion out because I know you guys care so much. And just talk about Nats a little bit and why I think some of those guys succeeded, and mostly about why I and some other people I know failed. So let's get this show on the road. So congrats first off to the new champ. I believe his name is something really ethnic, so I don't remember it. But that's not important because people remember his deck, which was that Tech Up TG deck, which I thought was great. I think a lot of people I heard, are at the event, oh, that guy's not good, blah, 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 because people always say that about the winner, no matter who it is. All you have to go do is read the comments on Tyree Tinsley's video that I did for Providence. You'll see that people just love to hate. But I think that guy was probably one of the people who deserved most to win at that event. He was prepared. He talks in his deck profile about having taken 3 months preparing that deck. It was teched out great. Thunder King, this format, I think, is awesome. Darkbright over 7 tools, I think, was a great choice too. But I've been I've been a proponent of that card for a while now. But I think he did a really good job, and he even knew, how to structure his change correctly. He knew about using Tengu and his TG monster to dodge warning. And so I think he was skilled, he was prepared, and he played through multiple builds, and he took what he felt comfortable with. Which, while that helped him succeed, that was exactly why I failed. Now, I've been kind of discouraged from the previous few events because I've been taking decks that I felt were really good that I had built myself, and not done well with them. Now, a couple of those, I think I'm going to attribute those. I attributed them to maybe the deck not being good enough at the time. So for this Nats, I took 6 Sams because I'd seen it had a strong matchup against Tour Guide plants, not against plants with Raikos, but against ones that didn't main Raikos. So I thought, and it had the sack factor, and it was easy to play, and I was like, maybe it's time to play something like that for this tournament. And, it just didn't pan out, and it just didn't work out, and I was talking with Zach, he said, after the tournament, and I just watched Evan Vargas' video where he talks about how he did when undefeated with Scraps during Swiss, which congrats to him also for coming out, coming back, and, some of us old school players remember back in the day when him and Jay Kim were smashing tournaments, so, congrats to him for coming back and just, showing just how good he still is. And he talks about in his video that he just posted that, first he calls Paul Cooper a faggot, which, hey man, if you put your name on your shirt, how can you be a faggot, bro? It's not, if you got a shirt with your name on it, you're the coolest guy ever. So he talks about him, and then he talks about why he took Scraps, and how he taught it's about playing stuff you're comfortable with. And then he points to the top 60 forward, and it was Value Turbo and Machina Gadgets and Malefics and all this other shit, and it was stuff that people were experienced with and that they liked. And I think that is really, really important, especially when you have a lot of choices, that the difference might not be whoever has the best deck, but whoever has been most prepared and most comfortable with the deck they're using. Which is why I think the TG deck did so well, why I think the Malefic deck did so well, why I think Evan Vargas did so well. I have different reasons for why I think players like Nazar did so well, but that's just me. So that's what I'm going to start doing. From now on, no more accepting other themes, no matter how tempted I am. It's got to be stuff that I feel comfortable with. And if I don't feel comfortable with it, and I'm just taking it from somebody else, I better expect to just not do as well as not do that well. If you're playing the best deck and you know it in and out, and you've been playing, and it just resonates with you, then you're gonna do well. But if it doesn't, then you should probably expect to lose any mirror matches you play. But I don't know. That might be a little extreme. But either way, that's what I'm going to start doing from now on. I attributed the doing badly with Worms and Hero Beat to them being not good enough. But I really think it was, thinking back on that, those bad matchups. Playing the Worm deck at Orlando, I got paired up against Frog Monarchs and 2 Hero Beats and a mirror match within my first 6 rounds. So those 3 decks are obviously terrible matchups for Worms, especially when I mirror match against a Worm deck that main deck 7 tools. When I main deck Darkbright, so he already had a huge edge. He won the dice roll. That match was over before it started. And then he took his Worm deck to top 16, which you can see that deck profile on this channel as well. And so I think that that was more of it just wasn't fortunate enough to take because you need to be a little lucky to make it to top. You have a couple things go your way. And the Hero Beat deck, same thing. Early on, got paired up against Frog Monarchs, which is an awful matchup for Hero Beat, and got paired up against. It wasn't even that it was the TG deck that beat me. It was this TG deck that hit Morphing Jar twice in both games that he won. That he hit it when I just at the key time to completely swing the game around. So I mean, I'm not making excuses, but rather just trying to point out that sometimes you can jump to conclusions when you don't do well at an event that you're like, screw this, I'm only gonna play the best deck, and that I'm tired of like basically trying to say that like, oh, if I play the best deck I'm for sure gonna top, and that's not the case. You have to play just whatever you feel most comfortable with. But we only got one event left, Gen Con, and if you're there, some say hi. I love it when people will come and they go, hey, yo, Duck, what you doing? And then I think they have awesome accents, and I get a huge boner because it reminds me of just how popular, famous, awesome, sexy, intelligent, modest that I really am. So, yeah. Please come say hi if you go to Gen Con. Maybe we'll play some Smash Brothers. We can go do the hentai panel, voiceovers together. There's tons of stuff you and I can do together. But yeah, and or come trade with me. But I'll probably be playing Gadget Exceed because I think that deck is really good. I built it from scratch, even though it's obviously not the most original idea. It's still a deck that I personally built from scratch without using someone else's template. So I feel good using it. I feel comfortable with it, and I hope I do well with it. If not, I've got like 2 months before the next American YCS to plan anyways. Ban list stuff, there's not really much to talk about there because it's really hard to tell. It was easy last time to pick what was going to get hit, or at least pick some of the cards, because the cards were either not TCG exclusive, probably not TCG exclusives, and they were really broken. Now, aka Rescue Cat. Now the card that's really broken, which is Reborn Tengu, is not a TCG or is a TCG exclusive. So it's basically questionable as to whether Konami will hit it. I don't know how their R&D department, if they do function in that, where they're like, well, we got to leave this card on because we want to sell it in a different market. I don't know if they work that way. I don't know if they purely work in the game's interests. I don't know, but if they do work in that kind of fashion where they try to encourage sales, it's going to be tough for them to hit Reborn Tengu because it's a card they want to make money on in the OCG. But if they do care about this game, you can count on Tengu going to 2. I personally really don't think Hyper Librarian is going to get hit because obviously the deck that won the North Americans was not dependent on Hyper Librarian. Like, it can go to it, and it's a TG deck, but it was really all about teched out Control and Horn of the Phantom Beast, which apparently I missed the memo on. Apparently this card is just broken, this most broken thing I've ever heard of, and never used it apparently because I don't look at old cards and I just suck. But this card, it's in people playing Scraps and GBs and this and Tengus, and it's really good. It's a really good card, especially with Reborn Tengu. It's an amazing card with Reborn Tengu. And it's really good in that TG deck, and it's just like dominant in the format. But I suggest though that people really consider maining Thunder Kings, because a lot of the decks that did well were running those Tech Thunder Kings. I even was taking Thunder Kings in my Sam deck, which I was really happy with. It was one of the few cards in that deck that I was really happy with, which, lo and behold, the cards that I put in myself were the ones I did the best with because I was most comfortable with them. It's not a surprise because it's the stuff I put in. So, and it's kind of like when you argue with your friends and they're like, no, I think this card's better, and you're like, no, I think this card's better. A lot of times it's kind of weird, but you might both be right because you guys both may play the decks out to where a card like that is used like 100% to fruition or whatever. It's completely, you guys can take advantage of the potential of whatever tech card each one of you guys uses. So and that's the case with me. Like one of my friends, Matt, was running Thunder King in his 6 Sam deck as well, and he was like, God, I just hated it. It was terrible. And I was like, you kidding me? Like, he was amazing for me. Like, it was one of the few cards that was winning me games out of that deck. And he was like, no, I didn't like it. And then he was running his own Tech Fiendish Chain, and I was running as well, and I was like, I didn't like it. And he was like, I loved it. And so you can kind of see how that plays out. But enough beating this dead horse. I should probably go shower since I just went jogging, and I'm wearing this old shirt. I'd probably shave so that I don't look like quite such a beaner. God, man, what's wrong? I've been hanging around BB too long and all these Roar kids. I'm starting to talk like them. I'm trying to go shave. But oh, and thank you for all my new subscribers. There's a ton of you guys, and I'm so happy because all you're doing is making me more famous, which I'm already pretty famous, bro. I don't know if you guys have heard, DrDroo. It might not be the same DrDroo, but I'm famous in a way because there's another famous DrDroo. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be famous. But anyways, that's it for me. Please let me know if you guys any decks you guys really want to see. People watch the deck profiles the most, but that might not be what subscribers like the most. So let me know. I will make them. A couple choices. I'm gonna be making a video on how not to get your stuff stolen, which I have a lot of experience in getting my stuff stolen. So I finally found out how to just like be disciplined and hammer down and do all the little tricks to stop those things from happening again. Maybe another deck profile on the Gadget Exceed. A deck profile. Actually, I mean that's about it. What else? That's the only thing I'm really working on. Maybe a ban list discussion, which I don't think anybody really cares what I think what's going to happen to the ban list because it doesn't matter what I think. Konami's going to do whatever the hell they want anyways. Like anybody could pick Heavy Storm getting banned and Chrissy going to 2 last format. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's it for me. This will be DrDroo signing out. Bazamas.